right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, a district in disarray. Now St. Louis Public Schools faces a leadership void after a board member's sudden departure.
I think the community is a little disappointed in the things that are happening right now.
The school board candidates pushing for change.
Big changes are coming in the next 48 hours. From big-time melting Friday back into the deep freeze over the weekend. We're timing the impacts for your weekend plans.
Our top story, a rideshare driver accused of sexually assaulting 2 passengers days apart. What kept him on the road, and police on the hunt. Tonight, that driver is sitting in jail. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. Both alleged assaults of female customers happened in 2 separate incidents in St. Charles County. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend joins us from our newsroom with the story all new at 10.
Mike, detectives are still digging into these 2 cases and asking any more potential victims to come forward. Prosecutors charge Ahmad Rayahi with harassment, kidnapping, and sexual abuse. On January 9th, police responded to a report of a sexual abuse in the 3100 block of Calhoun Drive in St. Charles. An 18-year-old woman told detectives that's where Rayahi attacked her. Investigators say the victim managed to escape and called police.
She told us that she had been picked up by a driver operating under a lift. And when they got to her destination, he sexually abused her.
Police say 5 days later, Rayahi assaulted a second passenger. Investigators tell 5 on your side the 34-year-old woman requested transportation through the UberX rideshare service.
She had a destination that he drove past. He took her to a nearby business and he locked the doors.
Police say the second violent crime happened in the 8600 block of Orff Road in Lake St. Louis.
She was able to text a friend who was nearby, and somebody came out and assisted her and confronted the suspect, and during that time she was able to escape.
Rayahi's address is listed in East St. Louis, but police aren't certain if that's where he actually lives.
He came into this country from the country of Jordan under a tourist visa that has since expired. Investigators had a kind of difficult time locating him.
On Wednesday, St. Louis police tracked Rayahi's car to a parking lot near Enright and Clara in West St. Louis and detained him for St. Charles officers. Meanwhile, police are reminding rideshare users like Kirsten Kloppel to always be alert.
I always make sure I always think ahead, like I have my phone on me at all times, and if possible, I have like either pepper spray or my knife, just in case something would happen.
It's potential that there could be more victims that just haven't contacted us yet.
Tonight, Rayahi is locked up in the St. Charles County Jail. He's being held on a $250,000 cash-only bond.
New reaction tonight after a St. Peter's woman was indicted for an arson in Puerto Rico. Court documents say Danielle Bertozzi burned down several businesses on the island earlier this month. A witness captured video of her arguing with employees at one of the businesses. Last week, a neighbor captured the moments the ATF searched Bertozzi's St. Peter's home. Proud Puerto Rican and St. Louis alderman Daniela Velazquez says she's glad to see justice can go across borders.
It's an outrage to the people from there. So it caused concern, and the fact that there was an immediate arrest. Obviously, the internet did what it did, and they wanted justice, as I did too, and I'm glad to see this arrest.
Bertozzi is due in court tomorrow. If convicted, she could spend 5 to 20 years in prison. Turning now to our weather impact forecast, you're taking a live look over downtown St. Louis where some warmer temperatures melted some of the snow away, but don't get comfortable yet. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with another Arctic blast heading our way.
And we still have 3 inches of snow on the ground officially in St. Louis at Lambert tonight. You see the melting that happened today. Now temperatures are dropping off, so we have the potential of seeing some refreeze tonight. That's a concern. Areas of fog seems to be now our concern for that is fading somewhat. Most of that would be east of St. Louis or in the low spots, but the patchy fog, not as much of a problem, we don't think, as the black ice. So give yourself some extra time heading out the door, you know, overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning. Once temperatures jump back above freezing tomorrow, we should continue to melt a good deal of the snow. There are a few clouds around, but we're down to 30 degrees. We think tonight we'll drop back into the mid to upper 20s, but tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, the breeze is picking up out of the southeast. And while that's bringing in some milder air for us tomorrow, it also early in the morning creates wind chills that are in the 20s. That will seem warm to us as we head into the weekend. We'll talk more about that Arctic blast in a few minutes, Mike.
Scott, thanks. Tonight we're learning city workers may have lied about salting and clearing snow from city side streets. St. Louis Department of Streets Director Bethany Williams sent an email to the Board of Aldermen saying she had been given incorrect information about street conditions from workers. Williams says those workers could face disciplinary action. However, her first priority now is getting the roads fully cleared. Just this afternoon, City Comptroller Darlene Green sent a letter to Mayor Tashara Jones urging to declare a state of emergency over the ice-covered roads. Green says that would allow the city to bring in emergency street crews. Late tonight, the mayor responded to the comptroller saying a state of emergency is not necessary. Jones says she's already reached out to multiple contractors and only 2 expressed interest in signed contracts with the city. Tonight, calls for change at St. Louis public schools are growing louder. This after a board member's abrupt resignation citing unethical behavior. Now, a dozen people are lining up to get on the board, including a former superintendent's wife. As our Brent Solomon shows us, current leaders are now launching a new system of checks and balances.
Well, Mike, tomorrow afternoon, a governance committee will meet to ensure that the school board is doing everything it needs to do to get on track and to avoid the mishaps that led to the superintendent being ousted. This as we're hearing from some of the fresh faces now vying to get on the board.
Our district is in trouble, and it's going to take all of us to turn it around.
Our children deserve better. Our city deserves better.
It's an early look at some of the 12 people hoping to get on the St. Louis School Board when voters head to the polls in April.
As a teacher and then a coordinator and a principal, high school principal, elementary principal, a central office administrator, I've seen school systems from the inside out.
One of the candidates, Karen Collins Adams, the wife of former SLPS Superintendent Kelvin Adams, who helped an embattled school district get back in good graces with the state. That was before the most recent superintendent, Keisha Scarlett, was brought on and then let go.
St. Louis was in a failing position years ago and then moved to full accreditation, and you know, you don't want to ever put that at risk.
And the 12 people that are running for the school board, God bless you, good luck. I hope you have a clue of what you're going to face.
Board Vice President Matt Davis and board member Natalie Vowell have said they will not run for re-election. Board member Sadie Weiss walked out of a board meeting this week, stepping down from her post early. This while an interim superintendent is leading the district.
The board needs to come together to be able to communicate with each other and look for, in their next superintendent, someone that is capable of managing a school system like St. Louis, and look in their background first to see whether or not they've had any experience with that.
The school district did not meet its own late December deadline to complete a financial audit, citing staffing issues. Leaders say the interim superintendent has made it a priority to make sure that changes. Tomorrow's School Board Governance Committee meeting will happen at noon at district headquarters.
And just hours ago, the Riverview Gardens School District held a meeting asking the public for help dealing with declining enrollment. Officials estimate enrollment to drop between 800 to 1,000 students over the next decade. The district asked residents to vote in an online survey on multiple solutions, including closing their lowest attended elementary school, Lewis and Clark, or an unnamed school with high maintenance costs. Other options include redrawing elementary school boundaries. A recommendation is expected in May. Developing tonight, a woman is dead after being attacked by multiple dogs. This happened last night in the Walnut Park West neighborhood. Family of 62-year-old Gladys Anthony says she let her dogs outside when 3 other dogs got into the fenced backyard. They attacked her and one of her dogs. Anthony's husband tried to fight them off, was also bitten multiple times. Police rushed her to the hospital where she later died. The family says they were helpless.
It wasn't nothing that could stop them dogs. They had already bit into my mom. They took a chunk of her arm. Her legs was ate up. It was nothing that could be done to stop those damn dogs from touching her.
Animal Control says it's received calls about the 3 dogs twice before this attack. The dogs are now impounded and their owner is cooperating with police. Tonight we're learning more about the woman killed in a crash on I-44. A semi-truck pushed her car off the highway down onto Vandeventer yesterday morning. Friends tell us the victim was 34-year-old Colleen Lishway. She was a mother and head coach for the water polo teams at McKendree University. People at the university tell us her impact on the school went beyond sports.
The bond that our men's and women's water polo team is just unmatched because she created this culture and really cared and loved for people, right? And really cared and loved for student athletes and our coaches and our colleagues and just everybody that made up the small community.
Police briefly detained the semi-truck driver. They say he admitted to taking his eyes off the road to grab a drink before the crash. No charges have been filed. The Urban League of St. Louis is launching a new safety program with technology at the forefront. The Neighborhood Public Safety Upgrade Initiative will use a crime prediction tool called risk terrain modeling. The software will look at several factors to identify at-risk neighborhoods. Those areas would receive resources like Ring doorbell cameras and motion-activated lights.
The Ring doorbell camera is proven to assist law enforcement with identifying suspects and giving neighborhood residents a sense of security. It's an extra layer of protection.
Officials hope this will help avoid over-policing. The software has already seen success in other cities such as Newark and Dallas.
Breaking the bank for better classrooms.
I spent $12,000 on stuff for my classroom.
Tonight, the I-Team looks into the out-of-pocket expenses putting teachers in financial jeopardy.
No weather records are in jeopardy over the next few days, but that brutal breeze returns over the weekend. We're tracking how long this next cold blast lingers.
New tonight, an I-Team investigation into the rising financial strain on teachers who are spending hundreds and sometimes thousands of dollars out of their own pockets to keep classrooms running. With Missouri ranked among last in teacher pay and inflation driving up costs, the I-Team's Paula Vassan wanted to know just how much are educators sacrificing.
Nina Harris dedicated 18 years to shaping young minds at Lexington Elementary within St. Louis public schools. For her, teaching was never just a job. It was her calling.
I think about the teachers that helped me, Miss Bowers, Miss Pipers, and the impact that they had on my life and my ability to come out of the neighborhood that I came up, because I grew up in North City. My passion was just helping young people be better human beings.
But passion came at a price.
It was so bad the last time I actually kept track, which was about 6 years ago, and I spent $12,000 on stuff for my classroom. I spend $500 to $600 every year just on snacks for my classroom. So all of that little stuff just keeps constantly adding up.
She says it's crucial for school districts to pay attention to what teachers really need.
Districts truly need to listen to teachers.
So we listened. The I-Team surveyed 153 educators late last year across Missouri and Illinois. We found that nearly half of teachers surveyed expect to spend more than $500 by the end of the school year. Over 30% of teachers reported spending more compared to a year ago.
The resources are just not coming in the way they should.
Our survey revealed that teachers in rural areas face similar out-of-pocket challenges as their urban and suburban counterparts. About 40% of all teachers we surveyed reported having an additional job to make ends meet. Many are turning to crowdfunding or Amazon wish lists just to stock their classrooms. Beyond school supplies, teachers told us they're purchasing hygiene items and even furniture to create a safe, welcoming space for students.
It's frustrating because
we shared our survey results with Todd Fuller from the Missouri State Teachers Association, and one finding surprised him the most.
The number of teachers that are not reimbursed for the money that they're spending on supplies for their students. It's larger actually than I expected it to be.
All this comes as Missouri continues to rank near the bottom for teacher pay. In May, Senate Bill 727 bumped the starting salary to $40,000. But Fuller points out that's still up to $10,000 less than neighboring states like Arkansas and Illinois. He warns the teacher shortage will only get worse without bigger raises.
We need to be competitive when it comes to salaries, of course, but we also need to recognize the value of teachers in our state and in our school district.
For Harris, who retired last year, the sacrifices she made from her own pocket highlight how much teachers give and how often their efforts go unrecognized.
I'd have a lot more money for retirement if I and that's honest. You know, I spent a lot of my teacher's salary on things for my classroom.
Teachers tell us school districts need to step up and make sure there's a clear reimbursement policy for teachers spending their own money on classrooms. The surprising part? More than 73% of teachers we surveyed said their district either does not have a policy or they have no idea if one exists. For the I-Team, Paula Vassan, 5 on your side.
Today, St. Louis firefighters took advantage of the icy conditions and held ice rescue training in Benton Park. St. Louis Fire Department says it tries to have one of these trainings every year, weather permitting. Firefighters learn how to use ice cutting tools while in the water, as well as how to utilize their insulated cold water Mustang suits. After spending time in the chilly water, firefighters say they hope residents never end up in it.
Stay off the ice. Stay away, keep away from it. There's no need to have an accident or possibly death, anything like that. So basically, please stay away. It's your best interest for your safety and everyone around you.
Firefighters also said the best thing you can do is call 911 if you do see someone struggling in icy water. If they're able to make it out, you're encouraged to help them dry off and keep warm as soon as possible. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the weather impact forecast. And happy birthday, Scott.
Oh, thanks.
We're going to get a little warmer and then a lot colder.
Yeah, we get back into the 50s tomorrow. You know, the 50s is a great place to be. I'm just saying. All right, we're in the 20s now in some of the outlying areas, including DeSoto. Out in the valley, it's 20 at Chesterfield, 27 in Warrenton, but still 32 with a few clouds over by Greenville and 30 in Alton right now. The clouds, though, are thinning out. And we do expect through about 7 o'clock tomorrow morning to have black ice be another problem again. It's kind of a repeat thing, except today we did a lot more melting across the area with that high temperature this afternoon that soared back into the 40s. There's a look downtown tonight after the Blues exited over at the ballpark. Everybody coming out at the stadium, whatever it's called, Enterprise Center. You know, we got the Energizer Park and they're all changing. They all changed names. So 30 degrees right now. That's where we are at Lambert. 44 was our high. This is actually our lowest temperature again today. We were there around midnight, and then we were above freezing early this morning. So tonight, how about mid-20s? That's not terrible, but again, anything that drained today is going to tend to refreeze. And there's more Arctic air. As we've been talking about, it's up over the North Pole, it's up in northern Siberia, and it's headed towards us as we head into the weekend. Right now, just a few clouds coming in. You see down to the south and southwest of us, this is the weather system that mostly slides by to our south. That'll be happening later tomorrow into tomorrow night. So most of the day tomorrow is dry. We should have a variably cloudy sky. I don't think there's going to be widespread fog in the morning, and we're around 50 for the high. Clouds will be on the increase. They thicken during the afternoon. The rain chances, though, they're not overly impressive. Yes, there will be some rain around St. Louis, especially south and southeast of town going into tomorrow evening. So if you have dinner plans or evening plans, that may be something you consider, but we're still way above freezing here, so we don't have any icy problems going into the overnight hours tomorrow night. That will come, though, as we head into Saturday and into Sunday, because we're talking about gusty north to northwest winds through the day on Saturday, driving that cold air in and across the region. Temperatures holding about steady during the day on Saturday, and then they really start to drop off as we head into this weekend. We're talking temperatures in the 30s Saturday, but only in the teens for highs Sunday and Monday, and you can expect single-digit below zero wind chills. Sunday morning, perhaps much of the day on Sunday north of St. Louis, and then into MLK Day as well. Tuesday is cold. The big thing is that the active storm track stays to the south of us. The cold air is so dense and expansive, kind of keeps the stormy weather away. So that means we don't have snow in the forecast early next week.
Which is good news.
We'll take that.
Yeah. Scott, thanks. Corey is here with sports.
The Blues win another round with the Flames at Enterprise Center. We remember a classic Cardinal story from the late Bob Uecker, and we also catch up with an athlete who fought her way through cancer. That's coming up after the break.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Onder Law Injury Attorneys.
If the Blues want to make the playoffs, they need to treat every game like it is the playoffs. This 2-game series against Calgary at home sure felt like the postseason, and the Blues made sure to make the most of their opportunity. Monty and company trying to go 2 for 2 against the Flames this week. This was a pretty good start. 5 minutes in, Braden Shen lights the lamp, 1-0 Blues. Later in the first, the Colton Parayko offensive explosion continues. His 10th of the year, that already ties a career high, 2-0 Blues. Still in the first, a Jordan Kyrou laser makes it 3-0 and Enterprise Center is rocking. 3-1 in the second as the captain is going to get his second of the night. That made it 4-1. And how about a Nathan Walker scrap for good measure? He is not scared of anybody, and the Blues were not scared of the Flames this week. They win tonight 4-1 for the 2-game sweep in St. Louis.
We needed to win both games, to really get close. And now, we're 1 point behind them. They have 2 games in hand, but they got to go win those games to separate from us. And we did what we needed to do here in these 2 games. Most importantly, the way we played tonight, the way everybody in the lineup competed.
About some high school hoops tonight. Westminster facing DeSmet for the Lindbergh tourney title. Ian Thomas going to splash a 3 to start the DeSmet scoring. Back the other way, Will Powers going to do the same for Westminster. Great back and forth action in this game. Will Folk, bucket, and the foul for the Spartans. And then just as the first quarter expires, Powers gets the steal and takes it all the way for the buzzer-beaten layup. This came all the way down to the end. DeSmet won, though, 53-51. Incarnate Word and coach Dan Rolfus with their home opener tonight against Mater Dei, looking to extend their all-time winning streak to 141 games. Alyssa Kirkenmeyer, she's tough for Mater Dei. Nice basket there. But Incarnate does not want that streak to end. Addie Owen, triple. Incarnate denied it first here, but they stick with it. Nevaeh Lucius gets 2 and the foul. Finally, you can't stop Nevaeh Caffey on the break. Incarnate wins 68-31. Like I said, that's now 141 wins in a row. Today, baseball lost one of the most interesting men in its long history. Brewers broadcaster Bob Uecker died at the age of 90. It was a baseball life filled with classic stories, and a lot of them happened right here in our town. Uecker spent 2 seasons in St. Louis as a catcher in the 60s, getting a World Series ring in 1964, and providing plenty of memorable quotes and moments. Uecker broadcast Milwaukee Brewers games for over 50 years and, of course, had a memorable role in the Major League franchise of movies. Known as Mr. Baseball, Uecker also had over 100 appearances on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, where he once told this classic Cardinal story.
On this particular day, this cost Bob Gibson, one of the great pitchers in baseball, it cost him and I a couple $100. They had taken the picture and they had proofed it and everything, and then brought it back to the ballpark before they finally caught that scene there.
What, can you come a little closer on that?
Well, Bob and I are holding hands.
You certainly are, aren't you? That's for guess who's coming to pitch.
Here's a heartwarming follow-up. 2 years ago, I did a story on the Red Bud softball team and one of their senior players, Ashlyn Crafton. Her team rallied around her fight against leukemia, and today, Ashlyn got to celebrate her final chemo treatment at Cardinal Glennon. Lots of family and friends were on hand as she rung the bell with help from the St. Louis Fire Department. Crafton's belief and support for her family helped carry her through the fight.
Absolutely everything. They've got me through a lot of stuff. So much encouragement into me, and they knew I was going to get through this. So.
She's been a fighter the whole time. She never gave up. She kept on pushing through. But like she said, without our community, family, and friends, all the prayers that have been answered, we wouldn't have been able to do it without them.
Ashlyn is going to school for nursing, where she wants to work in pediatric oncology.
That's fantastic. It looks like she has a lot of support, and boy, we're going to miss Bob Uecker. He really was one of a kind, and if you go to YouTube and see all the clips, it's one funny story after another.
I'm already planning on doing that tonight when I get off.
We will miss him. Coming up, going the snowy extra mile. A pizza delivery driver braves chilly conditions and gets a heartwarming surprise. A pizza delivery man's snowy journey is going viral tonight. An Indiana man drove through a snowstorm and then walked 15 minutes to deliver the pie. And what did he get for his efforts? A $2 tip. Well, the police officer who took the video thought he deserved a lot more. So he started a GoFundMe campaign that's now raised over $7,000. The delivery driver says he's going to use the money to take care of his grandma. And Scott has a final check of the weather impact forecast, and it's going to have an impact.
Yeah, you don't need grandma going outside this weekend.
Nope.
You know, tomorrow's okay. Don't think we'll have a lot of slip and falls tomorrow, except early in the day. But we're melting that snow. A lot of it goes away by tomorrow afternoon, but we'll still have some on the ground this weekend, which means that colder air surges in here Saturday. Wind chills drop into the single digits, even below zero by Sunday morning. And we're not out of the teens for highs Sunday, Monday, with single-digit low temperatures. Maybe even a few spots around or below zero where there's still snow on the ground early next week.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 4 a.m. And have a great and safe tomorrow.